Hello, and welcome to Creative Mojo, episode number 40. Creative Mojo is my podcast about my love of knitting, and normally I come to you from my home in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but today I'm actually coming to you from another lovely home that we are staying in on Hornby Island in British Columbia. Hornby is one of the Gulf Islands that sits, there are a number of little islands that sit between Vancouver and Victoria, or Vancouver and Vancouver Island, actually. There are, as I said, a number of islands here. People live on all of them, primarily, I think, except some of the very smallest ones, maybe. It's absolute paradise here. I'm at the following this portion of the video. I'll have a little video clip, a couple little video clips of this place that we're staying in, and the view. I'm actually sitting facing to the front of the house, which is in the front of the house, which is towards the road, and there's beautiful gardens and trees and ferns. I look out the window here, there are ferns and all kinds of other sort of rainforest plants. And then at the back of the house sits onto the beach. So from the back deck, there's a beautiful view of it's about maybe 30 yards down to the water. And yeah, it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And we're staying here for this week. Last weekend, last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was in Vancouver for Knit City. And that's mostly what I'm going to talk to you about today is my adventures at Knit City. And then, as I said, at the end, I'm going to include a couple of short videos that show you the house that we're staying in, and a short video that I shot at the marketplace at Knit City. Knit City, if you don't know of it, it's the one of the largest knitting events in Canada. It takes place in Vancouver once a year, and it's fantastic. It was my first time there, and I had an absolutely amazing time. I wasn't sure because I'd never been before, and I was going on my own. A lot of people go with friends, and I knew that I would know some people there, some people that I knew over that I met online, but not in person. A couple of people that I met in person, but I had lots of people to hang out with. It was just fantastic. I hung out quite a bit with my friend Carla from the Knitniks podcast, who also lives in Calgary, and her friend Carmen. And that was great. I really enjoyed hanging out with them. I also went on Friday night out for a drink with Shannon Fisher from the Socksetra podcast, and Shamika of Mika Makes, I believe is her podcast, and another gal named Laura, and that was fantastic. We had a really, really good time as well. And yeah, I hung out with quite a few people over the weekend. Kim from who is Ginger Snap That on Instagram and Ravelry, and she has an Etsy shop, and she sells yarn and project bags and sock blanks that her husband dyes, and they were vending at there, and so I spent some time with them, had dinner with them and some friends of theirs on Saturday night. And also on Saturday, I had what I was referring to as my market buddy, Angela, who's a viewer of this podcast, and she had contacted me that she was going to be there on Saturday, and would I like to meet up with her? And so I met up with her and her 5-month-old baby, Andrew, who's absolutely adorable. And Angela was just terrific. It was so nice to meet you, Angela, and I really, really enjoyed spending time with you on Saturday and having a new friend to visit with and hang out with, and we had a great time, and I couldn't be more grateful for the fact that you reached out to me and that we got to spend some time together. I also I flew in on Friday in the morning, and Friday afternoon I took a class. There are classes all through the weekend, but I only took the one. I kind of wish now that I had signed up for a few more, but I'm just noticing, you'll have to excuse the crazy glare on my glasses. I'm facing the window and some blinds to get some nice light in here, but yeah, it's making all this weird. Sorry, not much I can do about that. Anyway, yeah, so I only took the one class, and now I kind of wish that I had signed up for another class or two, but I didn't. But the class that I did take on Friday was with Stephen West, and that was so fantastic. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. That was a 3-hour class on Friday afternoon. It was he taught a couple of classes over the weekend, plus Friday night he did the keynote lecture, which I couldn't go to, unfortunately, because I didn't get tickets in time for that, and it was sold out. But the class was great. There were about 30 people, I think, which was a terrifically good number to get to actually spend some time and talk to Stephen. And he talked with everybody in the class sort of one-on-one, which was really great. And he's just lovely. I couldn't get over what a really lovely man he is. I sort of thought that he might be a little wilder and crazier because, you know, he dresses wild and crazy and he designs some wild and crazy patterns, but he actually was a sweet, sort of slightly shy, maybe quiet, lovely guy. Good, wonderful sense of humor, and yeah, just terrific. And that was a fun class. It was just about playing with color and texture and sort of loosening up and learning how to just experiment and go with things. And yeah, it was so great. So I enjoyed that tremendously. And then Saturday and Sunday, both days, I spent a fair amount of time at the market. It was just sort of the perfect size. It's not a huge market. It's not Vogue Knitting Live or anything, but it's a pretty big market, and lots of vendors, and some great vendors that were new to me. That was really exciting, and some vendors that I know. So there were quite a few vendors from Alberta, and there were designers vending there, and there were, of course, lots of yarn, and there was lots of patterns available, and there were yarn stores that were carrying different things they carry in their stores, yarn stores from the Vancouver area. And there were some pottery vendors and some other things like that, you know, other things that are sort of knitting related. You have to excuse me if I sniff and cough a little bit here. I'm just getting over a terrible cold that I had just a few days prior to going out to Knit City. Anyway, yeah, the market was just great, and it was pretty busy. I got there about 10 o'clock on Saturday, and it wasn't too crazy busy, but then it got busier through the middle of the day, and it was very busy, sort of noon to 3 kind of thing, noon to 4 maybe. It was very busy, lots of people. And then on Sunday it was a bit quieter, which was nice. I took the video on Sunday, and as you'll see, there's a good amount of people there, but it wasn't jam-packed, and it was actually easier to, you know, get around and see things. I did go with a plan on Saturday. I had some definite ideas of a few things I wanted to pick up, and that was a bit better for my shopping, to have an idea of what I wanted and to take some time. And I went around and looked at a lot of booths and looked at things, and I was looking for a few very specific things. So I took in kind of what was there first and really made some good choices. And then, of course, when I went back on Sunday, I didn't have any sort of plan. And so I ended up, there was a lot more impulse buying on Sunday. As I said, it wasn't as busy. It was easier to see things. And I got a fair number of single skeins of fingering weight on Sunday, which, as we all know, is totally my kryptonite. But anyway, I thought I would, I don't have a ton of knitting to show you. I will show you the 2 things that I am working on right now on this trip. But mostly I thought I'd show you what I picked up at Knit City, because I'm really excited about some of it. So first, I think I will show you some of the things I picked up on Sunday, which were my sort of more impulse purchase, my single skeins. But they're all just beautiful yarns. So some of them you'll be familiar with. Some of them are ones, a few of them are Alberta vendors and yarns that I've had before. But it's always so nice when you can see them in a booth with lots and lots of color choices, and often things that they bring specially for that show. So yeah, I got a skein of yarn ink, which is, if you've watched the podcast before, you know is one of the yarns I really love. And this color is called Vintage Christmas. You can see that it's that lovely kind of taupey color with the greens and red speckles. And it's really pretty, and this is going to be a pair of Christmas socks for myself, I do think. Really like that. And then I got Laura from The Fawn and the Fox she wasn't really vending there. She had, they had a display. They're carrying her yarns now at Wet Coast Wools in Vancouver, which is exciting. So she had a little sort of like a trunk show, almost a pop-up show on Sunday. And all of the yarns they had of hers were the Badger Base, which again, if you've watched the podcast before, you'll know is one of my absolute favorite yarns of hers. And so I was really excited to see a few colors that I haven't had before in the Badger Base, which is her BFL, Superwash BFL, BFL nylon. And I picked up this beauty, which is called, where's the name? Moonlight. There's the name there. And let's see, that is so pretty. I think it's a hot pink actually hiding away in there. Yeah, I love this yarn. This makes the most fantastic socks. So I'm sure this will be another pair of socks. I got that. I got, you'll see a little bit of a color obsession I had. I was looking for minty green. I kind of wanted, Candace of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast is doing a mint along, October, November. And I sort of thought I wanted to join in on that. And I was looking through my stash when I was still at home, realized it's a color I don't have any yarn in sort of mint green shades. So I was looking all over the market. That was actually something that was on my list on Saturday, and I looked and I couldn't find anything. And then Sunday, oddly enough, I found several different skeins in that color range. So I did actually pick up a couple of things. I picked up this beautiful Ancient Arts, which again is a Alberta yarn that I've knit before. This was a colorway that she was debuting at Knit City. The color is Lake Louise, which is one of the mountain park resorts in Alberta. And this, as you can see, I think there's a big lake up there called Moraine Lake. And the colors in the Rocky Mountains of some of those high alpine lakes are this amazing kind of minty blue-green color. All the minerals and things in the water make the water this gorgeous, gorgeous color. And so this really, and so it's the color of, you know, the mountains and the snow and the trees and those high glacier lakes. So that's so pretty. Love that. And then here's another sort of minty green I picked up. This is called Soft for You, and this is a merino cashmere nylon. This one was just a merino nylon. I think it's a 80, is it 80-20? Yeah. And this is a 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Soft for You, which is, I believe, I believe she's a Vancouver dyer. And this is really pretty, kind of in that minty green as well. Into more of a little bit of a sage green also. I really like that, and that's so soft. That's probably going to go into a shawl or something, I think. The softness of that. And then I picked up 3 skeins from a new to me dyer. She's a British Columbia dyer out of, I can't remember where now, somewhere in central BC. It's terrible, I can't remember where she dyes out of. Doesn't say on her tags either, but I'll put it in the show notes. Black Cat Custom Yarn, and she's only been dyeing for about a year apparently, but her yarns are fantastic. So this is the first one I got. It just screamed to me off the shelves. The riot of color in this, I love it. I love it, love it. This will be socks for sure. And this color is called Light Bright. Not gorgeous. And then I also picked up another very colorful, although much darker, this color here, which is called Nyan. I think this is actually going to be socks for my husband. He really liked this skein of yarn. So speaking of which, if you can hear a little bit of guitar playing going on in the background, he's in the other room. He has a gig here on Hornby Island tonight, and so he's tuning his guitars, doing a little bit of playing in the other room. Anyway, so that's beautiful, beautiful again. And then this is the last one I got. This is the skein of yarn that I'm going to actually use for the for Candace's cowl. This is the next thing I think that'll go on my needles. Isn't that? Oh, I love this. It's called Choco Mint. So it's like minty greens and chocolate brown, and then there's a little bit of teal blue in there, bluey greens as well. I just love that. I think it is so pretty. Can't wait to get that into some socks. I haven't decided yet whether I'll use a pattern or whether it will be just vanilla socks, but beautiful. So, and then the last skein of just fingering weight that I got, this is heavenly. This is from Ginger Snap, my friend Kim, and this was a new base that she was debuting just in this colorway. This colorway is called Abigail, which is named, excuse me, after her brand new granddaughter, Abigail. It's 100% 17 micron superwash merino, and it's called the Fingering Luxe base. And this is so soft. You would not, like, I was a little on the fence whether I was going to buy it or, I mean, the colors are beautiful, and I really was loving the colors with the pops of yellow and gold and hot pink. Really pretty, and then some dark brown, I guess is what that is, really, there. But when I picked it up and felt it, though, I was done. I was like, I have to buy this. I said to her in the booth, I was like, I think I'm just gonna go back to my hotel room now and sleep on this like a pillow. It's soft like a kitten. So this will be a cowl, probably a cowl or something here around the neck, because it's so soft that it can only be, it's either would be a baby clothing, but I don't really have any little tiny girl babies to knit for right now. So I think I might make it a cowl for myself. So that's the fingering weight I got. Oh, well, I did get, okay, I got a bundle of minis from Seawall Fibers. She's a Canadian dyer, I believe, although I think she lives in Florida. So, but she dyes from Seawall Fibers is named after Seawall in Nova Scotia, I believe. So I'm not sure what the story is there, but she had a booth and all kinds of lovely things, and these minis just spoke to me. There are 4 in here. There was a 5th one. I'll show you in a minute. I'm using it in my current sock project. So Seawall Fibers, this is her quartz sock, which is just a 75-25 merino nylon. Again, very, very soft. There aren't colorway names on this, but they're really pretty. That very pale yellow, bright goldy yellow, lighter gray, darker gray. And then the last color that was in that mini set, I will show you in my current sock that this is what I knit mostly on in the market. So this is the mini. It's this beautiful corally, like coral orangey red color, really pretty. So you can see where those all went so beautifully together. Really nice. And the project that I'm knitting on is just a pair of vanilla socks. The main body of it is this, which I showed in its skein form not too long ago. It is junk yarn in the colorway Drew. It's an 80-20 and merino nylon, and really pretty. And the sock is here. So I'm doing not bad. I mean, as you probably, most of you probably know if you've been to yarn events. Oh, now I've got funny light on my face as well as on my glasses. Sorry, I don't, it's all the sunlight coming in through this window, and I've got the blinds down, but the line you can see is where it's coming in through the little holes where the cord runs through the blind. So we're gonna have to go with it. But as you say, as you probably know if you've been to different kind of yarn events, that I didn't get as much knitting done as I kind of thought and hoped I would. Although I did knit on this quite a bit. I knit on it a little bit when we were out in the barn Friday night. I knit on it several times in the market on Saturday and Sunday, and I knit on it a little bit in the car from Vancouver over to here. So doing pretty good progress of it, the heel. And so I used that mini in the heel, and I will use it again in the toe. So I'm about an inch away from starting the toe, and this is on the first sock. So, and I'm loving that knitting this. This is beautiful yarn as well. And Camper of Junk Yarns was actually at Knit City. She wasn't vending or anything. She was just there with friends. I didn't say hi to her, and I really should have. I should have gone and got a picture of her with her and I and my sock that I'm knitting out of her yarn. But I always feel a bit weird with doing this sort of fangirly thing. I did get a picture with Stephen West, which I put up on Instagram, and I did wait in a little line and get a picture with the grocery girls because I really wanted, not as much I wanted the picture, although it was fun to have a picture with them, but I really wanted to say hello to them. Sort of conversed a little bit on social media and stuff, but I really wanted to meet them in person, which I did, and which was fantastic and wonderful. And I wore my, it was fun, I wore my So Faded sweater that I finished earlier in the summer, I guess, and shown on this podcast, and I wore it on Saturday and Sunday at Knit City. It was the first time I've worn it since I finished it, and I got so many compliments on it. That was really nice. It's fun to go to a knitting event for that kind of thing where people will actually compliment you a lot. Everybody's looking at everybody else's knitwear. But it was very humid in Vancouver. It was raining on Friday and Saturday while I was there. And I think I talked on the podcast before about how I knit that sweater a bit large to begin with. And then the humidity, it just kept growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. And it was, starting to become closer to a short dress by the end of the weekend. So I think normally after I hand wash it, I will have to put it in the dryer a little bit on a very light cycle to shrink it up a tiny bit so that it's not huge. And if I were to knit that pattern again, I would knit it a bit smaller. I've learned a good lesson, which is the last couple of sweaters that I've knit for myself and worn quite a bit, a couple ones that I really enjoy, but they're all too big for me. And so I realized I don't need as big a size as I thought, which is good to know, especially with superwash yarns because they will grow a little bit. So it is better to knit. I've just discovered I don't need to knit quite as large a size as I've been knitting, which is exciting. So anyway, so that's the project, that's the one project I've been working on. And the other project I just started day before yesterday, or yesterday, I guess. So the two sort of main purchases that I made at Knit City were, which one to talk about first? Actually, before I do that, I'm also going to show you, I got also this beautiful project bag from Kim of Ginger Snap. Sugar skulls, which I just adore. I don't know if you probably can't see. Oh, you can a little bit there. They're sparkly, the sugar skulls. So I got this very, very cute little bag. And it's beautiful black and pink stripy lining in it. I really like it. And it's a good size, actually. Be a decent shawl size, small shawl, single shawl bag. Great for socks, but would make it work for another small project too. Anyway, so the two kind of main purchases I got at Knit City, I knew I wanted a sweaters quantity. A sweaters quantity of sport was what I had told myself, although, and I knew I wanted something a little sort of rustic wool in a way. And I found the perfect wool. After I purchased it, I realized the cable patterns that I was looking at, that I was thinking of for this yarn, are all actually in either fingering weight or worsted weight, not sport weight. Most of the sport weight sweaters that I have queued up and have been looking at are more, might want a more drapey yarn than what I ended up getting. But anyway, I went to a bunch of booths and I looked and looked, and I finally found this yarn, and I love it. I am absolutely, absolutely in love with this yarn. I have a ball of it wound up. I got a ball of it wound up at the marketplace. I got 6 skeins of this. It is from a company called Abundant Earth Fiber, and she's a small local mill on Whidbey Island in Washington, and she was up vending at the Vancouver at Knit City, and she had the most gorgeous yarns. They're all natural colored. They're all natural sheep colors. So there were light brown. This is, very, very pale brown, kind of cinnamony brown. There was dark browns. There was cream. There was light and dark grays. There was this sort of chocolate, milk chocolate brown, and a darker brown. So all the ranges that sheep come in were all her yarns. They're undyed, but she had all kinds of different fun fibers. She had some American Shetland, which I kind of wish that now that I had actually got. She had a little kit for that to knit it for. I their hat or mittens, and I actually really wish I got that too. But I can order online from her, and I think I may very well do that. I've already gone and scoped out her website and joined her newsletter, and but this yarn is amazing. It is the softest, bounciest, squishiest. It is 90% domestic American merino, not superwash, which is great. And then it is 10% Washington Targhee. And the Targhee is part of what gives it that fantastic sort of bounciness. It is, I think, a 2-ply. It's a sport weight, 360 yards. So I got 6 skeins of this, which is plenty to make a sport weight sweater for myself. And like I said, I did get 1 skein of it balled up at the market, and I've been playing with it and swatching with it a little bit. I kind of wanted to cast on right away, but I don't have the right needle sizes with me to do that. But I did have some stuff to swatch it and play with it, and it knits up beautifully. This is some of the most beautiful wool that I've seen in a long time, and when I saw it finally in her booth, I knew this was what I'd been looking for. So as I said, 6 skeins of this made me so super happy. And then the other larger purchase I got was Sweet Fiber, which is, she's a company out of, she's a yarn dyer out of BC. And I got a little bit of her yarn at home. I haven't knit with it yet, but she had a big booth and she's very popular at Knit City. And this is her card. And I picked up 4 skeins of her merino twist worsted weight, 100% superwash merino, 200 yards per 115 grams, and then I got it in the color Sweet Pea. Isn't that pretty? It's that is a pretty accurate color. It's the most beautiful. There we go. Pale, soft purple, and it gets there's sort of a slightly pinkier and a slightly grayer in the variegations of the purple, and it makes it just look like it glows actually. And I sort of saw this from afar and thought, oh, I have to have some of that. And I did look originally to see if she had this color in fingering, but she didn't. And then I thought, I've been meaning to make it's been on my list, and I wanted to make for quite a while the Void Shawl by oh my goodness, now I can't remember who does the Void Shawl, but it'll be in my show notes. You probably all know the Void Shawl. It was knit by lots and lots of people last year. Eric of the Sticks and Twine podcast and Katie from Inside Number 23, I think, had a knit along. Bunch of people have done it. So I got 4 skeins of this to make the Void Shawl, and I got one of them balled up at the market, and I've cast on. It's really pretty. Very fun pattern. I've just finished the 3rd pattern repeat. Sorry for the needles on the table there. But just whizzes along. So knit on this a bit more today and tomorrow here, and I should have a pretty good chunk of this done. I did plan on working on my brioche shawl while I was here, and I haven't touched that, bad me, but I had to get some of this new yarn on the needles. I couldn't not do it. So this is the other thing I've been working on, which is the Void Shawl out of the Sweet Fiber. So that's just, oh, the last thing I was going to show you that I picked up was, as I said, I ran into so many friends at the market and got to visit with so many people. That was just delightful. And one of the people that I got to visit with a little bit and was so happy to see was Jenny of the Lone Larch podcast. We met a couple of times before, and I just adore her. And she was giving away these adorable, cute little mini skeins. She and her friend Kate, I believe, Kate has started a yarn company called Fiddly Dye Works, and she's going to be launching, I don't know whether she has done her first Etsy update or not yet, but if she hasn't, she will soon. So this is really pretty. This one is called Parker, and it's a BFL sock. So it's a 75 BFL 25 nylon. It's also very soft, very pretty. Those colors are fantastic. So there was that one. There was this, which I think is the, Jenny said, there's no tag on this one, but I think Jenny said it's a large colorway. I think Jenny dyed this one, actually. It's got her little Lone Larch Progress Keeper on it. Beautiful colors, goes really well with what I'm wearing here, as you can see. And then this was a merino alpaca sock, is this one. And this color is called Wren. So yeah, that was the last. So that's everything I picked up from Knit City, and that's kind of everything that has been in my adventures this week. I said we're here on Hornby. We stayed in my husband. I went out to Vancouver on the Friday. My husband joined me there on Sunday evening, and we stayed Sunday night in Vancouver. And then Monday we took 3 ferries actually to get here to Hornby. You take a ferry from Vancouver over to Vancouver Island, to the Nanaimo, to the ferry, what do you call it, ferry terminal in Nanaimo, and then we drove a little bit farther up island, and then we took a ferry from Vancouver Island over to Denman Island, and then you do a real quick drive, what my husband says they call the Denman Dash. You do a quick drive across Denman Island to get on another little ferry, and that's like, it's like a 10-minute ferry, 20 minutes or so drive across the island onto another little 10-minute ferry to go from Denman to Hornby. So we arrived here Monday, kind of 6 o'clock-ish, I think, by the time we got here. Found the place where we're staying. This is someone's gorgeous summer home, basically. A lot of people there are some people who live here full year round, but there are a lot of people who own homes here and from Vancouver and Victoria and other places as well. And they come out and stay in the summers. So a lot of them will rent out their homes. And one of my husband's friends who actually lives here full time set this up for us to be able to stay here for the week, which was incredibly fantastic and generous. So we got here and found the place. And then have been just relaxing and hanging out and reading. I finished a whole book in the last few days, which was pretty quick for me. I love to read, but I'm not a super fast reader. But I started the book when I was in Vancouver on the weekend, and I finished it today. So I'm about to start my second book of the trip. And I've been doing some knitting, and we went out for dinner with some friends on Tuesday night, and then last night we cooked dinner here, cooked a really nice dinner, and played some cards, which is a thing we never get the luxury of things like that. We played some cribbage, and yeah, and then as I said, my husband has a gig here tonight. He's been out here to Hornby quite a bit. There's a guitar camp here in the summer, and he comes out and teaches here a lot of summers, and so he knows lots of people here, and he plays also some gigs in the Blue Series. So when we decided we were going to come out, the same friend of his who set up this place, lovely place for us to stay, said, well, do you want to do a gig while you're there? So he'll play tonight at the community center, and that should be fun. He'll get to see a lot of the people he knows that live here. And then we have one more day here tomorrow, and then we'll head back early Saturday morning. We'll do the 3 ferries back to the mainland, back to Vancouver, and drive to Kelowna, which is sort of in middle of BC, and that's where our son and daughter-in-law and 3 grandchildren live. And so we'll spend Saturday night and Sunday with them and have Thanksgiving dinner with them on Sunday night, which will be Canadian Thanksgiving this coming weekend. So I'll have Thanksgiving dinner with them, which will be really nice. And then early Monday morning we'll head back to Calgary. And from Kelowna to Calgary, it's about an 8-hour drive, I think. So we should get home to Calgary probably dinner time-ish, which will be good because I have to go back to work on Tuesday. So anyway, I think that's everything I have to talk to you about today. I probably will not be able to upload this video until Monday or Tuesday when I get back to Calgary, and I don't want to try and upload it here. I don't think the internet's fast enough. So by then, Thanksgiving weekend will be over, so I hope for all you, my Canadian friends, that you've had a wonderful Canadian Thanksgiving. And until I talk to you all next, happy knitting. This is the beautiful home that we're staying in on Hornby Island, off the coast of British Columbia. So lovely and green here, which is really nice because it snowed at home in Calgary this weekend, so we're really grateful to be here. Little guest house. Here's the house we're staying in. Tour you around to the deck on the back. You can see the view, the ocean. That way's north, that way up to Alaska. That's west over there. Fantastic little spot to sit and knit. And this is the inside of the little place we're staying. The bedroom. Bedroom is on a sort of second floor. That's the view from the big windows in the bedroom. Looks out onto a little deck and out on the water. It's beautiful. Although it wakes you up early in the morning because there's no drapes, so you wake up when the sun comes up. And then if you go down the stairs, sorry for the shaky camera, and the bathroom, which again has no drapes on the windows. Not used to that, being a confirmed city dweller, but that's outside the bathroom windows. And lovely glass shower. And then down to the main floor. And it's an open area, so it's the living room, my knitting spot that I've been sitting and knitting. Very nice. Again, the view out these are all the living room windows. It's all glass on this side, which is really beautiful. Lots of natural light. And the dining room area. Big kitchen. And this is the front entryway out to the front yard. And there's a little, it's very dark in here, but there's a little room in here. TV. And more windows. It's just an incredibly beautiful home. I wish it was mine all the time instead of for the week. So yeah, this is the place where we're staying.
Down the rabbit hole, yeah. Get an accordion. Dance. I'll be dance. Well, it's $50,000 for software.
Yeah, it's like a lot of work because it's a very elaborate system.
How's everyone doing?
Like general access. It's all going to be. Oh,
Thank you for all the